The Apache people, often regarded as fierce warriors and survivors, have a history steeped in migration, adaptation, and resilience. Anthropological evidence suggests that the Apache tribes were originally part of the Athabascan-speaking peoples who lived in the northern plains, likely near the northwest Pacific coast. Between the 13th and 10th centuries, these groups began migrating southward, traversing vast landscapes, and eventually settling in the southwestern United States. This migration was driven by both environmental changes and the need for resources. As they moved, the Apache split into eastern and western groups, establishing themselves in areas that are today Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona. This division influenced their cultural and linguistic development, as well as their geographic distribution. Despite the differences among the tribes, all Apache groups spoke languages from the Athabascan family, linking them to their northern origins. The Apache tribes adapted to their new environment by becoming semi-nomadic, relying on hunting, gathering, and limited agriculture. They crafted teepees and wickiups, portable and quickly assembled shelters that suited their mobile lifestyle. Their ability to adapt to harsh climates and resource-scarce environments was a testament to their ingenuity and survival skills. Over time, they became known for their distinct cultural practices and their formidable presence in the Southwest. The Apache's migration was not merely a physical journey, but also a transformation of identity. As they encountered diverse terrains, climates, and neighboring tribes, they adapted their strategies for survival. Their movement southward was marked by the development of unique cultural practices that distinguished them from their northern Athabascan relatives. The introduction of horses by the Spanish further revolutionized their mobility, hunting efficiency, and military tactics. This adaptability would later define their interactions with European settlers and their ability to resist external pressures. The harsh and varying landscapes they traversed included deserts, grasslands, and rugged mountains, each demanding unique survival strategies. The Apache demonstrated exceptional resourcefulness, learning to track game, find water in arid regions, and cultivate crops in sparse soils. This versatility laid the foundation for their resilience against both natural challenges and human adversaries in the centuries to come. By the time of European contact, the Apache had firmly established themselves as a dominant force in the Southwest, their reputation as skilled warriors and shrewd negotiators already taking shape. Apache society was built on extended family units, often consisting of multiple generations living together. These units formed the foundation of their social structure, with leadership roles assigned based on wisdom and experience. Chiefs were chosen to lead not by hereditary right, but by their ability to make sound decisions and inspire trust. The system emphasized merit and communal welfare. The Apache held a matrilineal tradition, particularly among Western groups, where lineage and inheritance were traced through the mother's side. This system reinforced the importance of women in Apache society. Newlywed couples typically lived near the wife's family, ensuring strong familial bonds and community cohesion. Women played significant roles as caretakers, advisors, and cultural preservers, balancing power dynamics within the tribes. Cultural practices included hunting and gathering, as well as raiding, which was seen as a legitimate means of acquiring resources. Hunting provided food, clothing, and tools, while raiding supplied horses, weapons, and other necessities. Apache craftsmanship, particularly in beadwork and pottery, also reflected their artistic ingenuity and cultural identity. Spiritual beliefs centered on nature and the interconnectedness of all living things, with ceremonies and rituals playing a significant role in their lives. The spiritual life of the Apache was deeply intertwined with their environment. They believed in the presence of supernatural forces in natural elements, such as the wind, sun, and mountains. These beliefs were expressed through elaborate ceremonies, including the sunrise dance for young women and healing rituals conducted by medicine men. These ceremonies were not only spiritual, but also social events that strengthened community bonds and passed down traditions. Apache governance extended beyond chiefs to include councils and clan leaders who worked collaboratively to resolve disputes and make decisions. The concept of consensus was vital, ensuring that all voices were heard before major decisions were made. This participatory approach to governance mirrored their values of equality and community cohesion. The everyday lives of the Apache revolved around their connection to the land and its resources. They demonstrated sustainable living practices by harvesting only what was needed and maintaining the balance of their ecosystems. This harmony with nature extended to their tools and weapons, which were often crafted from natural materials such as wood, stone, and animal parts. Their clothing, made from animal hides and adorned with intricate beadwork, served both practical and ceremonial purposes. Despite their semi-nomadic lifestyle, the Apache developed a strong sense of community and identity. Gatherings for ceremonies, trade, and storytelling provided opportunities to strengthen social ties and reinforce shared values. Through these practices, the Apache maintained their cultural heritage and ensured its transmission to future generations, even amidst external pressures and adversities. The arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century marked a turning point for the Apache. The Coronado expedition of 1540 was among the first documented encounters, but it was not until the late 16th century that tensions began to rise. Initially, the Apache established trade relationships with the Spanish and the Pueblo peoples, exchanging goods such as hides and food for horses and tools. However, as Spanish colonization expanded, conflicts over land and resources became inevitable. By 1610, the Spanish had founded settlements like Santa Fe, encroaching on Apache territories. While some Apache tribes maintained alliances with the Spanish, others resisted fiercely. The introduction of horses by the Spanish transformed Apache mobility and warfare, enabling them to adopt a more nomadic and strategic lifestyle. This newfound mobility allowed them to conduct raids more effectively and defend their territories against encroaching settlers. The Spanish missions aimed to convert indigenous peoples to Christianity and integrate them into colonial society. However, these efforts often met with resistance. The Apache's semi-nomadic lifestyle and strong cultural identity made them less susceptible to conversion compared to other tribes. The Pueblo Rebellion of 1680, in which the Pueblo people temporarily ousted the Spanish from New Mexico, also disrupted Apache-Spanish relations, leading to periods of conflict and uneasy truces. European diseases introduced during this period had devastating effects on the Apache population, weakening their resistance to colonization. Smallpox, measles, and other illnesses decimated communities, creating additional challenges as they struggled to maintain their way of life. Despite these hardships, the Apache adapted by forging strategic alliances and adopting new technologies, such as firearms, to enhance their defensive capabilities. The Apache's interactions with European settlers were complex, marked by cycles of cooperation and conflict. Trade relationships provided access to valuable resources, but cultural misunderstandings and competing interests often led to violence. The Apache's ability to navigate these relationships with diplomacy and strategy underscored their resilience and adaptability. The 19th century brought new challenges for the Apache as American expansionism replaced Spanish and Mexican rule. The U.S. annexation of Texas in 1845 and the subsequent Mexican-American War disrupted the region, forcing the Apache to navigate a complex web of alliances and hostilities. Initially, some Apache tribes cooperated with American forces, allowing safe passage through their territories. However, this fragile peace unraveled as settlers encroached on Apache lands, leading to the outbreak of the Apache Wars. The Apache Wars, a series of conflicts spanning several decades, were fueled by disputes over land, resources, and cultural survival. The discovery of gold in Apache territories brought an influx of settlers, exacerbating tensions. Raiding parties targeted these settlers, while American forces launched search-and-destroy missions against the Apache. The use of advanced weaponry and military strategies gave the U.S. Army an advantage, but the Apaches' knowledge of the terrain and guerrilla tactics prolonged the conflict. Leaders like Cochise and Geronimo emerged as symbols of Apache resistance. Cochise's defiance began in 1861 after being falsely accused of kidnapping, leading to a decade-long conflict with U.S. forces. Geronimo, known for his fierce determination, continued to resist even as other tribes surrendered. His eventual capture in 1886 marked the end of organized Apache resistance, but his legacy as a warrior and leader endures. The Apaches' resistance was characterized by their adaptability and resourcefulness. They utilized the rugged terrain of the Southwest to their advantage, employing hit-and-run tactics that frustrated U.S. military campaigns. Their ability to survive under extreme conditions and maintain their cultural identity during these conflicts remains a testament to their resilience. Despite the devastating impact of colonization and forced assimilation, the Apache have preserved their cultural heritage and continue to thrive as a resilient community. Today, the largest Apache populations can be found in Oklahoma, Arizona, California, and New Mexico. Tribal governments and organizations work to protect their traditions, languages, and lands, ensuring that future generations remain connected to their heritage. Modern Apache communities celebrate their culture through ceremonies, powwows, and educational programs. Efforts to revitalize the Apache language have gained momentum, with initiatives aimed at teaching the language in schools and through digital resources. These efforts reinforce cultural pride and identity, fostering a sense of unity among Apache people. The legacy of Apache leaders like Geronimo serves as a source of inspiration, symbolizing resilience and resistance against oppression. The Apaches' contributions to American history, from their military strategies to their cultural practices, are increasingly recognized and celebrated. Through perseverance and adaptation, the Apache continue to honor their past while building a vibrant future. Economic development has also played a crucial role in the modern Apache nation. Many tribes have invested in industries such as tourism, gaming, and agriculture, creating opportunities for economic self-sufficiency. These endeavors not only provide financial stability, but also support cultural preservation efforts by funding educational and community programs. Their enduring spirit and ability to adapt to changing circumstances serve as a powerful reminder of their strength and resilience. The Apache people, with their rich history and vibrant culture, continue to write their story, honoring their ancestors while forging a path forward for future generations.